What is up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome to Crunch Time NBA Edition. As always, I am here to host, not to give the advice. That man who's right up there is here to give the advice. That is Mr. Andy Means. What up, Means? I'm below you. There you go.
I know. What's up, dude? I like this slate. I have a good feel for everything, so I'm excited to talk about it. What's going on?
Okay, that's excellent. I don't have a good feel for it, but that's typical. But you are here to give. There are hundreds and hundreds of people waiting for your information. Everybody's standing by in both the Discord channel and the YouTube chat, and I think on Twitter, on Periscope. Is that still a thing?
Not for long, apparently.
Not for long. I've heard that it is doomed. But we've got the information getting out there in all sorts of ways. This is a free show. We don't do a whole lot of these. This is rare. So if you like it, you got to sign up for premium because we're only doing the free shows until the day after opening day. Then you got to pay for it all. But in the meantime, this is your time to shine. Means we've got hundreds of thousands of people on the internet watching right now. So give them the good.
That went quick from that went quick from a couple hundred to.
It did. It escalated quickly. Yeah, wow. I was shocked. I gave it a retweet.
Must have tweeted out to all your followers or something. Yeah,
I actually did. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's maybe go over this slate in general really quick. And then for those who are new, we're going to go position by position. Means he's going to tell you the best plays at every position, cash and tournament pivots. And then we're going to open it up and we're going to take some questions. I will be taking those in the YouTube chat. You can go on RotoGrinders.com, the videos tab, or in our RotoGrinders Discord. I'm going to have them both open and we'll be answering questions from all around. So Means, take it away.
All right, so let's go over some overarching team stuff real quick. The first game is extremely relevant. Cavs and Knicks. Cavs have 6 or 7 dudes out. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 12 guys projected for minutes. I'm almost certain that's all the guys they have available also. And this Charles Matthews guys we have projected for 4 minutes is questionable last I saw. So some good plays here. We'll go through them more at the positions, but like I always say, or have said in previous shows, always a good default to come back to Cleveland. If you're getting in a pinch and you want to look for a cheap play, there's plenty of good cheap plays here. There's like 3 of them right here. We'll talk about them as we go to positions. Knicks, similar situation. In a sense, they did rule a couple guys out recently. Noel out or doubtful out. Frankie Nicotine, doubtful/out. They rolled Alec Burks out. But more importantly, it's Tibbs. The dude, first 2 games, Randall played 29 and 32. Barrett played like 30, then 36. So we like these guys because we're almost certain that Tibbs is just going to keep playing his main guy's minutes.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about them when we get to position stuff. Bulls, similar to Cleveland, a lot of guys out here. They have maybe a guy or 2 more. If I went through and count all those guys, but you can see here we have some pretty healthy minutes projections on the Bulls guys. We'll talk about them. Thunder, lesser so, because they have a bunch of guys back. So we talked about them the first slate they were on, and now they have a bunch of guys back. Horford's back. They did rule out George Hill and I think Mike Muscala, but they still have plenty of guys that they can play here, and just less certainty in general because of there's just a whole bunch of new guys on the team, new coach, so uncertainty. But we will talk about at least 1 or 2 of these guys. Okay, so Portland. Got a lot of questions about this in Discord, on Twitter, etc. Based on when I wrote my part of the article this morning, I was just very unsure what they're going to do, because what they do, like with Damon McCollum. So what happened in the first game? They played them like 20-ish, low 20-ish minutes, 21, 22 maybe for Damon, CJ, and then game 2 they dropped them. They went to like 13 or 14 minutes, which is the exact opposite of what we normally see. So It confused me a little bit. Dig in a little more, did find a quote from Stotts saying he does want to get these guys' minutes back up. He wants to extend their minutes. So I'm thinking you see something a little more than what they saw in that first game. They probably give them a decent run at it tonight and then probably sit them in their 4th game. That's what I'm guessing. But that is why we up their We have Dame and CJ projected for 27, Covington and Derek Jones for 27. Nurk, we'll probably get some questions on Nurk. Remember, he was a little late. He didn't play that first game. He's behind everybody a little in training camp. They also have Cantor, also have Giles, who's been balling in the first 2 games. So that's why we have his minutes a lagging behind the other guys. But in general, that is why we see the Portland guys bumped up a little more than what I talked about this morning in the article. Denver, Little uncertain what's going to go on here. I think they only have 3 preseason games. This is their second. Theoretically, it would make sense for them to play a little. This game's an hour and a half after lock, so I'm guessing, if we're lucky, we'd get some Mike Malone quotes like right about around lock, because he was pretty forthright, if I recall, on what he wanted to do with their players in that first game. Still a little uncertain, but great tournament plays. Murray 6-1. Jokic, I mean, he dropped like 45 DK points in that first game. He doesn't need a lot of minutes if he's on his game. So good tournament plays here. Like Porter Jr. a lot. We'll talk about him, but overall, I'm not going to talk about them a lot when I go through plays, just because I'm uncertain and we have far more certainty at other spots. And then the last game, LeBron and AD, Vogel said he's playing in the first half, almost certainly going to play him in the first half. He left open, or at least some of the beat writers left open the possibility that they might play in the second half. I'd be shocked if they play in the second half personally, but it's not completely out of the question. Putting those two guys in, even for a half, just completely plummets everything else. Like, we saw them with really tight rotations in the first 2 games, especially the second game. I think they played 8 or 9 guys, if I recall correctly. Taylor Horton Tucker is played really well the first 2 games, and now people are going to play him because he's played well the first 2 games. But now you're getting a half of him of what we saw in the first 2 games,
and he might not be as efficient.
I don't know. LeBron theoretically would. His efficiency theoretically should go up. His rates should plummet.
Right.
Playing alongside those 2 guys. I don't know how much he's going to play alongside those 2 guys. They might want to get him some run. He's obviously earned more minutes in general, earned a spot in their main rotation. Probably want to see how he does in a real game with those guys. But if nothing else, you do have the second half to fall back on without the 2 studs playing. But I'm worried about ownership here is why I talk about it, because he's played really, really well. And anybody who's been playing slates already loves that dude, because he's probably won them some money. So don't like anyone from this team in general, to be honest. Okay. I will not mention anyone when I'm talking about like an optimal build. And then Phoenix, a little uncertain here. We brought these guys minutes up because they've kind of been doing this as the first 2 games have gone as far as minutes, just general trend up. Monty Williams has been a stone cold liar in everything regarding minutes. He's lied on the good end as far as like in a way. I mean, if you want to think of it that way, like he said something and then the players have played more than that. So, right. But that doesn't really help us anyway. Anyways, the 2 main guys I'm concerned about here, and they're also without a handful of guys too. I think like Cam Johnson, Sarge, Payne, those guys are out. I'm sure I'm missing. We're assuming Crowder out, who hasn't played yet. I'm sure I'm missing a handful of guys. But as you can see, we're not projecting a ton of guys' minutes here. So they don't have a ton of available bodies. I feel good about Booker and Ayton, unless the good news is we will know if they get ruled out, almost certainly. So like if worst case scenario, they get ruled out, you swap them. I don't want to like cause panic or anything.
Yeah.
My point is these guys are really good tournament plays. We actually Ayton, we have Ayton tagged as a team RG core play. I would be fine playing him. I just keep landing on Drummond more than him. We'll get to that. But I really like those 2 guys for tournaments. I like Jalen Smith for tournaments. But you probably won't hear me talk a ton about Phoenix guys except for maybe Booker or Ayton. So that's the overhead look of all these guys.
Great. Well, I feel like people have the info. They can make teams right now, or you could go through position by position and talk about your favorite plays at each spot.
Yep. All right. So point guard. 2 really good plays right here. Dame is one of my favorite spins, just because like I said, I am anticipating them getting up, and basically it comes down to, we saw it last night with Philly. I said if like Embiid and Simmons play just the first half, they're going to be right around 60 minutes. Embiid played just first half. He played 17 minutes. Simmons came out for the second half and played I think it was his first stint in the third quarter, and he played like mid to high 20s, if I recall. So that matters so much if they bring these guys out more. And that's what I'm anticipating. Like, Stotts isn't going to bring Dame out to play 2 minutes in the third quarter. Like, he's going to get him his rotation, and then he's going to probably sit. That would be my guess. So that's why I like him. SGA is in my build right now, my main build. So I like those 2 guys. And then cheap guys. So Darius Garland. I think last game he played low 30s minutes, had really good rates, shot the ball a lot. No Sexton. Dante Exum is out, or is doubtful on the injury report. I'm assuming he's going to be out for that reason. He had monstrous rates in that game, played really well. So that's another guy out. they just don't have a lot of ball handlers. So Darius Garland should take over the 1. He is he's one of my favorite cheap plays on the slate. And then that's, for the most part, that's what I'm looking at in main builds at this position. I'll talk about Kobe White at shooting guard, talk about CJ McCollum at shooting guard. That's mostly what I'm looking at for main builds. Love these other guys for tournaments, though, just because we don't know what's going to happen with their minutes. If we're low on them, they're going to be great plays. Murray, Chris Paul, not LeBron, Elf Payton, good pivot off of like RJ Barrett and Julius Randle chalk, which we'll talk about. So those are just some really good tournament plays. Let's move to shooting guard. I'll plug in. I'm going to plug in Dame in the little lineup builder over here for people following along. So shooting guard. Levine is my favorite play. I'm having trouble getting him, to be honest, because I'm just short of the money. I'm like $100 off of my favorite build, and he's kind of been the first one out. I like him, but I can get similar guys I like at that spot and that price. So I like him a lot, but I personally can't get him. Booker, kind of like I talked about with those guys at point guard that are good plays, but just don't fit the mold of being in my optimal type of lineup. So great tournament pivot. So Barrett, shooting guard, small forward. He's looked really well, shot a little better in that last game. And it's honestly the minutes here. I'm almost positive I do this. Yeah, the reason we like him, look at that. 3 more minutes projected than anybody else on the slate. Like sometimes that's what it comes down to. Yeah. He's kind of up and down with his production, but we're betting on volume here. He should be out there for a lot. That's why we're going to like him. So I really do like him in the shooting guard or small forward slot. Personally, like one of my favorite starts is doing, the SGA is not shooting guard anymore. But like Barrett, you can use it shooting guard. And then we'll talk about I'll just put him in there at shooting guard. We'll talk about some of these Cavs now at small forward, unless there's anything you want to chime in with.
No, let's go to small forward.
Keep rolling. All right.
Yep.
So here's where some of these Cleveland guys pop up, and I'm certain we're going to get questions on this because they're almost the same price. Damian Dotson and Isaac Okoro, almost the same price, $200 apart. We got them about 2 projected points apart. I'm going to be flat out honest. I do not know who's the better play. We're just guessing so much here. Dotson's on a new team. For comparison, Dotson was like a 0.7 DK points per minute player for the Knicks last year. Okoro's seen decent rates. They've had similar rates in the preseason games. There's so much uncertainty. I'm not going to take a stand on anybody. Sorry. In my lineup now, I have Okoro. I'm trusting our projections, and I'm going with Okoro. I have the money to get to him, so that's what I have. You can absolutely play both in an optimum build. I think you can absolutely play both in a tournament build. They're very cheap, and they're going to play a lot of minutes. We have those 3 guards, basically Garland, Okoro, and Dotson project for the most minutes on the team by 4 minutes over the next person. So that's why they're going to pop so much. So I do like saving here, whether it's Barrett, whether it's one of those Cleveland guys. I think that's where you're getting some salary relief on this DK slate. Because look, Barrett's projected for the most points of the position. Talked about Michael Porter Jr. Love him for tournaments as a pivot. No, I don't think many people are going to want to spend up that much for him on this. Toppin the same way. Toppin, I talked about Elf being a pivot. Toppin is, on the Knicks, and the 2 of the chalkiest players will probably be Randall and Barrett. And Toppin plays basically the same position as Randall, so he's a beneficiary if Randall stinks, gets in foul trouble, gets hurt, gets sat for whatever reason. Who knows? Yeah. Good tournament play here. That's about it. Some of these fringe Cleveland guys too. We have Windler pretty high. I'm uncertain on wanting to trust him too much. I would play Dotson over Windler in a cash game build. That would make Windler an ideal tournament pivot. That's about it as far as main guys here at small forward. Anything else before I go to power forward, Roth?
Nope, power forward.
All right, so Randall, I'm definitely locking him in right here. I think you should. If you're making a main lineup, like a cash game lineup, just lock him in. Really good per minute. One of Tibbs' favorite guys already, so that's an easy one. I just noticed this. We haven't projected for 10 more points than the next power forward.
Wow.
And he's not massively expensive. He's 6'6". Get guys like Dame, and Dame's 8'1". Jokic 8'6". Booker's up there in the 8s. That's just a really good play. So where you pivot here is the issue. Obviously, MPE, multi-positional eligibility, is going to make things a little different. Like it's not just guys at this position, but Porter was there. I don't love Covington at this price tag. I just have a hard time envisioning him competing from a raw projection standpoint unless he just plays way more minutes than we think or hits a ton of threes or gets a bunch of blocks and steals. I have a hard time going there. So I have a hard time saying anybody here,
right.
Honestly.
That's the play.
Yeah, I mean, Baisley, I'll say, is like $1,500 cheaper. He didn't play in that first OKC game. He's back. He's starting. I really like him just as a player in general. He produced really well from a fantasy perspective in the bubble. He would be the guy I'd look to because I don't think anyone's going to play him. And then it's just tough. Like we have a bunch of 4K guys here popping points per dollar. Sure, fire away at these guys. Probably make your build a little different, but I'm not enthralled with anybody. So center, some really good plays at center tonight. It would be a very good night for Roth to play. Randall's got center eligibility. You can play him at power forward. You can play Jokic, Drummond, 8. You can get like three centers. It's a Roth kind of night.
3 center night.
Oh, that's for sure a 3 center night. All right. So I got Randall at power forward because the eligibility comes in clutch. Center. So I'm going Drummond here just because, and we're being light here on his minutes. I think he was at 20. I think he's at 23 in that second game, but Nance played that game. So that they're down a front court body there. You would think they would want to continue the trajectory up on the minutes. So I think this is very, very conservative on minutes, which I'm fine with just because I don't know what they want to do here. And he's still got the 4th highest projection on the slate. So you start taking him up to like, let's see, 26. All right, now he's the 3rd highest. Let's see, 28. Now he's probably higher than anybody. So like you can see how this goes if we're just a little light on his minutes, which is okay because he's still the 4th highest projected player and he's only 7.5. So I love Drummond tonight. I think especially without Kevin Love, his rebound rate specifically should be great. So that's a great. I say great a lot there, so that's great. Yeah, he's a great play.
Okay.
Jokic.
Any other centers? Yeah, I was curious.
Yeah, I like Jokic as a pivot because if we're uncertain on where the minutes go. It's a later game. Ownership should be light. Love that. Cheap guys. Mitchell Robinson. He's starting. Really good per minute guy. So we'll see what the minutes are like there. I'm not certain. Okay, someone tagged me. Thank you. Okay, Crowder is playing tonight. I appreciate that, Alan. They're starting CP3, Booker, Bridges, and Ayton. So Crowder is playing and starting. Missed that part. So tone down the Jalen Smith love at power forward. I'm sure these projections will get updated a little bit with Crowder going in. I'm trying to think how it affects just off the top of my head other guys. It doesn't really fringe guys. Let me just pull up the roster here for Phoenix real quick. So just looking through here. I mean, I didn't like any of these guys much anyway. So let me see real quick what Crowder is priced. Even if he's the min, I'm not going to be too thrilled because they're bringing him along slowly. So Crowder is trying to 50. Yeah, I'm not interested. 5,400. All right. So this doesn't do much for me. I mean, it should make them a better team overall. So theoretically, you would think their efficiency goes up marginally. Doesn't really affect anything I'm dealing with except for Jalen Smith because they are starting him at the 4 without Crowder, without Sarge. Now Crowder's back. And so that hurts him a little bit. So that's the one main effect. Otherwise, I wouldn't adjust your Phoenix thoughts too much. And that's why we got crunch time, Roth, right there. That's why we got crunch time.
That's the point. Things change as you hit a block. Are you done with center? I feel like we got sidetracked. Okay, good.
We did. Yep. Where was I at? So yeah, take Smith out. He'll drop a little bit. So Mitchell Robinson's the main guy that we want to look at for salary relief. I would be fine if I land on him as like in this util spot. I didn't. If you are landing on him in like your main build, perfectly fine with that. I do like Wendell Carter a little bit, but not assuming you don't think Mitchell Robinson's going to have a crazy high ownership. And I don't know if he will. Maybe the starting stuff will push people on a little bit. I like Wendell as a pivot. It's so hard to make that call based on not knowing ownership. Talk about Harry Giles a little bit because he's played so well in the last 2 games. But again, there's just so much competition for minutes at that center spot. If we think the Trailblazers are going to kind of treat this somewhat as a dress rehearsal and send the minutes up, Nurk will come up a little bit. There's just competition there. I think he goes over owned because he's played so well. I don't know if recency bias is a real big thing in preseason NBA DFS. It might be. I wouldn't get too excited here just because of the situation as a whole. So that's kind of my thoughts at center. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Aiden. I do like Aiden. I hope I didn't come across as being sour on him. He would be a great play on this slate that I just don't have the room for him because I'm getting Drummond here at center. I want him first, even though he's $600 more. And I just land on not being able to get him. That's pretty much what it comes down to. So I think that's it. Those are really the guys I want to talk about at center.
Okay, let's talk about some of these big men here. Kirk has a question in the YouTube chat. He says, is it okay to play Mitch, Rob, and Randall together?
Yeah, I think so. Kind of what we talked about, I think, last night. I'm not worried about guys who negatively correlate as much in preseason because we're really just hunting for minutes. The guys who are going to play more minutes than other guys. And they're down a big, so I would be fine playing them. They're both relatively cheap too, so I would be fine playing them on this slate, yeah.
Okay, we're going to dive into more questions. Don't forget, you can sign up either sport by sport. So you can just sign up for NBA stuff, or you can sign up for literally every sport with RotoGrinders, which is a better deal as opposed to, doing a bunch of them. But however you want to do it, go ahead, sign up because the show is not always free. Let's see. All right, Buckeye says, DK Cash, Drummond or Lillard last piece? Sounds like you love Drummond. I just had to do this. I just had to take Lillard out of my lineup, and I plugged in Drummond. Am I going to regret that?
I would say Drummond is safer just because we feel more certain about his minutes. Like, as good as I feel about Dame, we are speculating a little bit on him going up to the high 20s. So let me look and see what our projections say. So we have Drummond 4, basically 3 back. I think Drummond's safer because as much as we're speculating on Dame, we're also a little conservative on Drummond's minutes. So he'd be right there if you put him at 26. So I think the safer play is Drummond. I'm playing both.
Okay. All right.
That's why I can't play Aiden.
Yeah. Arlo says, hey, means I'm landing on Kobe White as a last piece at shooting guard on DK. Is that okay? His minutes seem equal to Levine.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. We're probably on the same build. And I was kind of trying to figure out Kobe White or CJ McCollum. And since I'm throwing in the $15 too, I'll probably just play. I don't want to play McCollum with Lillard. That is one thing I probably will not want to do as far as correlation, just because they're both kind of expensive too. So I'm kind of laying on Kobe White. I'm fine with that. Him and Levine both kind of flip-flopped on who took the most shots in the first 2 games. They both have the ball in their hands a lot. They're light on guards. So like I said, if you look at our projections, I would like to get Levine. We have him projected for 5 more points than White, but I still feel fine sacrificing that little bit of projection because that's just what is a projection anyways. I know I'm getting minutes from White. I know he's gonna have the ball in his hands a lot. If he shoots well or shoots more than we expect, I think he's gonna be fine. So yeah, I do like White.
Okay. T Jackson says, do you like SGA? You did. He says, I'm not liking him a ton with a bunch of guys back.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that line of thinking, and his rates were kind of down that first game too, even though they were light on a bunch of players. But Hill's out, so that helps him a little bit. I just like his outlook in general, so maybe I'm biased a little bit. But he had a decent amount of fantasy points. He only played the first half. I think he was at 20 minutes in that first game, and I almost certain he did not play the second half at all. So if we could also be light on his minutes too. If he does that and comes out for the second half and plays another 10 minutes in the third quarter, you're looking at 30 minutes.
Yeah.
He was right at a point per minute last year with all those Thunder guys. Now all those guys are on other teams. You have to think it's going to be higher than that this year. So that's kind of my line of thinking. I think there's room up here, to be honest.
Okay. Let's go to Just Really Good. He says, how about your boy Poku? Is he a decent punt? That would be Alexiev Pokusevetsky.
Absolutely. It's 7 foot 190, like we talked about the other night. They got some guys back. So Dort's back. Horford's back. We talked about Baisley. There's some uncertainty here big time. So if he plays 20 minutes and he does all the stuff he was doing the other night, he should be fine. I mean, there's uncertainty on this team in general, so I would not talk anyone off of playing him. He's the price at the Stone Men, so I'm fine with it in tournaments. Yeah.
Okay. Jansen White says Porter Jr. or Talon.
Oh,
Talon.
Thornton Hooker. Yeah. Talon Thornton Hooker. In tournaments, he might be asking. Let me look. That might be a FanDuel question. Let me double check here. That might be a FanDuel question. Maybe not. I definitely like Michael Porter Jr. better for tournaments regardless.
Okay. I like this question from E Paradise. Can you play Murray and Jokic together? And this is my addition. Is this one of those situations where correlation is different because now they're positively correlated because if one gets minutes, the other gets minutes?
And I'd have to think about that on a larger scale as like for a regular season question, but I agree with what you just said. I think they do correlate better because if they treat this as a dress rehearsal and they both play 32 minutes, you're going to get better fantasy points for their price than a lot of people are anticipating. So yeah, I agree with you. I think they're fine together.
Yeah. I feel like not only are they okay together, it's almost better to play them together. Mm-hmm. And you're just hoping that, they decide they're going to run their starters and then
exactly. That's the line of thinking right there. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Justin says, is LeBron a lock on FanDuel? I feel like you have talked down.
Well, this is a situation thing.
Okay.
We got him as the highest scoring player there at small forward because of how crappy the position is, and he's got 17 minutes. So I don't want to go as far as to call him a lock because for all I know, he could play one quarter. I would think they're going to give him at least a decent amount of run if they're going to suit him up tonight. So I don't want to call him a lock, but if I'm playing an optimal build over there, yes, I'm playing LeBron.
Okay. Dean says, no pressure, but real American dollars may switch hands on this decision. FanDuel raw points, pick 2 of the 3, LeBron, Obi Toppin, and Okoro.
I would pick LeBron and Okoro.
Okay, great.
That was Dean. I should have given him bad advice.
Yeah, it was. Let's see. Hammer says, Kevin Roth and Meansy look like little people.
Down there in the corner down there.
Oh, okay. I was confused. I was like, should you tell him? Like, you're like 6'5".
I'm 6'5".
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Ross got guns. He is not little. Sense. I got little puny calves and some atrophy arms now. So, but I got the height at least.
Yeah. There we go.
We just got enlarged.
Good job, Devin.
Can you make my nose smaller while you do that?
Let's see. More questions here. Jay MVP says, DK Cash, util spot. You want Kobe Cheese White or Ayton?
Ooh, there. I would probably. Oh, that's tough. I like Ayton there. I'm gonna go Ayton there. I like your build. I want your build.
Okay. Hey, Beer Man.
Get there?
I don't know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh well. Too late.
Okay. That's pretty much lock, guys. Lock. Choo. Make sure you get those plays in. Hey, Beer Man, last piece, 5K forward spot. Would you use Baisley?
For a tournament build, I wouldn't play him in cash games.
Okay, excellent. Hey, don't go anywhere. 2 things to note real quick for those of you who are freeloading, all you freeloaders over there on YouTube, do us a favor, like, subscribe, because we're giving out free content.
Do we have a promo code, Roth?
We do indeed. Unless we don't, Devin. We now's the time to sign up because, as I mentioned, literally, what is it? 7 days? Or
Tuesday night is opening night, I'm pretty sure.
Right. It's coming around the corner. So jump on in here, get the premium going. That way we can do this all season long because that is what we do.
Yes, please.
And Devin just dropped the promo code for you guys there in chat.
Come hang out with us. Give us a run. You'll love it.
That's pretty much the truth. Like, I feel like you should just come hang out with us, drink a beer with us on Friday, talk some sports, and win some money. I'm not going to hard pitch or hard sell it, but I feel like most people enjoy doing those things. So
I'm not going to hard pitch it either, but if you're smart, you'll do it. If you're dumb, you won't. That's
right. No pressure. All right, we got a few questions, and these might be too late. I don't know. If so, just be like, Roth, you took too long. These no longer are relevant.
I can do that.
Straw says DK Cash, Porter Jr. and Drummond, or Ayton and Levine.
I would do. I hate those questions when I really like the one guy more, but then the 2v2 is better. So between those two, I would do the Levine one.
Okay. Really?
It was Levine and Ayton, right?
It was Levine and Ayton, but you loved Drummond. He's your favorite player, and you really like Porter Jr., right?
Yeah, I like Porter Jr. more for tournaments.
Okay.
There's still some uncertainty how good he's going to be with Murray and Jokic, and then Denver is one of the lesser certain teams on the slate as far as minutes. So I don't know. It's close, but if that was my lineup, I would do Ayton and Levine.
Okay. Irish Whips, DKGPP, Ayton, Porter Jr., or Dame and Toppin?
I would do Dame and Toppin because I'm not certain what the Portland situation is going to be as far as are people going to play these guys tonight. Are they going to see the 13 and 14 minutes from Dame and CJ in their last game and be scared, or are they going to speculate like we are in their minutes going up? So I would do the second one just because I could easily see Dame playing 30 minutes tonight.
So I said, why does Roth look super huge in the screenshot? You know, like, and I look way bigger than you in that because they put me behind you. Like you look like a
Ryan,
little
your
guy.
Contract.
Yeah, I look like I'm 6'8" and Diesel, and you look like a little guy in that, which is kind of fun.
Maybe Devin's trying to make my nose look smaller.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeisman says, Roth, the people want to know, will there be crunch time tournaments? Yes. On Fridays, we will do crunch time tournaments. I don't know if I'm going to do a preseason one. Just seems.
No, let's make it on that. We're going to do it on the Wednesday night. It's the first time we're not free, and it's a 13 game slate. So a week from tonight, let's do one. 13 gamer.
Love it. Oh, that sounds like a blast. Yeah. Also, if you lose to the Weatherman, you get shamed forever. So
did you win one last year?
I did. Yeah, I won one. Yeah.
It was Berea on the team?
I don't think that was that week, but
okay.
Berea usually was.
Let's just put it for everyone who's new. Roth won one of the tournaments last year and absolutely gave back money over the course of the whole season because he was adamant to play Berea. I'm just talking about in the crunch time tournament. Yeah. He's adamant to play Berea when I was like, Roth, he's literally not projected for minutes. And he's like, I don't care. I'm playing him.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
But yeah, no, I took it down. That was the biggest pot that I've ever won in DFS, was taking down one of those crunch time tournaments. I won like $60 or something, and I play small stakes. So
did you? And you said you took off the night like Berea crushed. Is that right? Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
All right. I think we're gonna get on out of here.
All right. Sounds good to me. I'm pretty sure I got some dinner waiting upstairs.
Yeah, I got a whole snapper, the whole fish. I'm gonna do it all fancy. I'm gonna cook the whole fish, eyeballs and everything.
Ooh.
I know.
We got cards on the show tomorrow and Friday.
Tomorrow and Friday, it's cards.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. If one more thing I'll add, if you're new here, generally during the season, we bring in another person who gives tournament
for the big slates. Yep.
Yeah, for the bigger slates. So Meansy gives you the cash plays. Then we bring in somebody like Cards or Tuttle, and they will give the tournament takes this year.
And they'll be like, Meansy, you're a chalk donkey. Shut up.
Right.
Do this to win even more money.
Right. Yeah. So it's always a good time. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you sign up for RotoGrinders Premium. If not, we appreciate you. We love it. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.